What's going on, guys? It's Sawyer here, one half of the Twinstunts. I want to take the time today to thank you for letting Twinstunts be your stunt part supplier. There's many options to choose, but not many of the options do you get the same parts that the pros ride. So here, the bikes you see behind me, all the parts that we ride in our shows and in our YouTube videos, we ship directly to you guys. There's no clowning around, there's no funny business. You get those same products. So in today's video, we're diving into our flagship Yamaha dual caliper bracket, turning your Yamaha Mt07 into a wheelie machine. Here is that video. We're going to jump back 2 months to the Kentucky State Fair. If you guys have any questions or comments, you know how to get a hold of us. Send us an email, twinstunts@gmail.com. That's for all the technical questions. We'll reply to anything you guys have, but I feel like this video is really going to fix those issues. This is your stock bracket down here for your foot brake. Makes it caliper. Absolutely. 6 mil, 8 mil Allen, and 4 mil Allen because you got to take the little sensor off of the ABS thing. I believe that's the only bolt that we actually don't send people. Come on. No, I already changed this tire. Oh yeah. 4 mil off right away. We're gonna teamwork this job out. Just gotta get pulled out. Boom, boom. You got the stock brake line assembly right now. Pop this off, then put the bolt back in because we have. Why are we doing this? What a lot of people get very curious about. They wonder what to do with all of this because there's a lot of ABS lines and everything, folks. So we are removing the stock foot brake line right now because we're going to be replacing it. It's going to go from there straight to there. And from here, we're actually going to remove this piece of plastic. And then I cut these lines right now just because we're doing a quick install. We're going to show you guys the easiest way to do this. So
leave them in there.
We do have to pull this out. We're going to cut and then we're going to fold it and pinch it over basically, just like if you broke your brake line on your truck. So you need a 5 mil Allen for that, sir. Right here. Pop this sucker off. Wow, this doesn't work. Teamwork is not the dream work when you're trying to... All right, so this is the easiest, quickest way. Best way is to get all of this stuff pulled out, but right now we are just going to cut this brake line because we're not using that sucker anymore. And then you need to unbolt it, sorry, with the 4 mil. You hook this up, grab that wrench. This is not the Aaron Colton way of doing things.
100% not. This is the get your bike built if Lean Back is in town tomorrow, and Twinstunts just got you all your parts. Possible second.
So we're just pulling this stock line out because this is all gone. Boom. Control-Alt-Delete. Not gonna need that anymore. Go inside and grab the torch, I think, because that's got red Loctite on it. Yeah, we want to put a little heat if you have some heat. We do not have heat right now. We're just being lazy. We want to get this done, so we're. Make sure you put lots of downward pressure.
Because if you strip these, they are a booger.
Even Bill Dixon stripped one the last time we swapped a rotor on his bike.
They are a booger.
It just, this Allen wrench is just super easy to round out.
We also, you got to make sure you're using a nice new clean tool.
Yeah, which we are not. Ours has got some smiles on it.
Yeah, it's just not the tightest 6 in the world. It's more like a 5.9.
Oh. Just like the sprocket, we like everything to be bigger here at the old Twinstunts Thrill Show. Everything bigger is better.
Good description.
Oh, yeah. So what this does, guys, not only does it add a ton of more braking power force, it also helps eliminate heat. So a lot of people, when they get this original Twinstunt setup, you ride the stock rotor. A lot of people like that on the street. However, if you ride... Oh, wow, sorry.
Thanks.
Thought that would be a little quieter on my If you ride with the brakes on a whole bunch, they are going to heat up on you, and then heat equals brake fade equals loop out equals more money at the Twinstunt shop, probably, because you totaled your bike. So you are going to want to make sure that you check your brake fluid, make sure everything's always good, bled properly, and if you have the money, I recommend getting the big rotor kit. You tell me what you need, whole shot.
Just you not to be in the shot, really. I'm showing people you can do this by yourself. guys, putting something underneath the wheel helps a ton. There's some really nice motorcycle stands that actually have that part of the stand built into it so you can adjust it. We do not have that. We have found, ironically enough, that a camper level block that we have obviously in our motorhome is the exact right height for a brand new Dunlop GPR with an FZ. So slide that bad girl through. She's got to go forward just a scotch. To recap what we just did there, so far we've got the bracket installed. We just cut this foot brake line at that little ABS junction box right there. And then we zip tied this line right here.
All right, guys, so like in the video we were talking about where we didn't have time between the show to do it and show the process. So this is the stock line right here, as you can see. So we cut part off that would have been hanging out right in here, and we capped it with a wood screw. So now this is allowing no more oil to come out. Again, this is a very quick way to do it. It's not technically the correct way. However, if you don't want to take all of these lines off, because you can see this is actually all still hooked up, the ABS housing, we just snipped there, just papped it with the screw. All right, guys, on this bike, we have a different example of how we did it. So we actually removed the ABS housing module that these lines originally were screwed into, and we just bent them up. So 2 ways to go about doing that. Again, either remove and cut the line, put a screw in, leave these lines hooked up still, but then cap it going this way, like on the other bike, or remove the housing, flip these lines up. Or if the bike's completely apart, take them all out, clean it up nice. Now we're gonna hook the foot brake line up, mount up the Brembo calipers, and show you guys how I route the lines, because that is another huge thing that people be doing wrong, is routing the brake line. So this is a crucial step right here that we're about to dive into. Got a glove to 45 at a downward angle. We're gonna put that going forward, actually, believe it or not. I know it sounds goofy right now, but you're gonna see why in just a split second, why you go forward and not straight backwards. So I loop it right on back around, because this is actually where the stock line is supposed to go through. If it was a stock line, this little rubber thing, you can kind of just put this wherever. Here, hold my phone, please. So you're just gonna loop it. It's just gonna make a nice loop right back around. And then that's gonna give you the right angle to be basically right where that Brembo caliper needs to be. So let's mount this adapter. Put the P32 on the top. Yep, I like the P32 on the top. It just looks nice like that. I'm at to your bike, all this hardware supplied by the Twinstunts. You guys notice though, we put everything on finger tight first before wrenching. It just makes your life so we don't even have the axle tight right now. No, I know. Okay, brake line. Got that new banjo on the front of here. All right, so this is the best way to route this brake line. You're gonna put the straight end on the Brembo caliper. You're coming down, going through the stock thing. It's got a nice loop around right here. Keeps it nice and straight, still loose, not too loose. We could even throw a little zip tie maybe around where that bolt was. There was a little thing here before. We have some of the brake line stuff sitting down there. But yeah, that's all mounted up. We remove the 2 headlight bolts. Drop the headlight. And then we're gonna go in behind this, right where the stock clutch cable goes. So I like to start at one end to the other. I'm gonna kind of put this, actually I already got my master on, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna bolt this up right away. You can wiggle this. Oh yeah, there she is. Wiggle that through there. Obviously, if you're taking your bike apart, sending your gas tank out, a lot of this would be a lot easier, even yet. So, depending how much stuff you're putting on your bike, and then we're gonna follow this right along where this stock foot brake line would go. Kind of just tuck this thing. You can see it trying to poke its little round head through. Come on, buddy. All right, so pull it through. If you're ever pulling it, guys, and it gets like bound up, do not just yank it. You can break the line inside, and then you're gonna call us, text us later on and be like, my brakes are leaking, I almost crashed, I looped out. Well, that's because you put a stress crack in your brake lines. So just be gentle with it like this. See, it's getting looped up like there. Just guide it through. Don't force anything. Just
These are steel braided.
Nice and gentle, nice and easy. So this is gonna run along this. We're gonna put a nice couple zip ties here, and it's gonna mount up perfectly to my rear caliper somewhere. I don't know which way the banjo is going on that one. So this is a downward dog on this one, so it's gonna go to about here. So toss that brake line ran, super clean, comes right off this handlebar. It's gonna tuck right down to the left side of that key. We're looping it right in the headlight, following the brake line, following the stock front brake lines, running it along this gas tank, underneath the bracket, behind, tucked down, straight to the caliper. Nice and smooth, no kinks, no binds. And then now we're actually gonna unbolt the calipers because, like I've told a million people in emails already, you cannot bleed the brakes on the bike because even though this looks like it's straight up and down, the gravity, mother
This
earth,
is straight up
tech,
and down.
science, whatever.
It's not doing a wheelie.
We're tipped a little bit back, so we got to get this caliper up so that this is the most vertical point. So I like to bleed them on the back tire usually, honestly. So we're gonna get the brakes bled. All right, so sorry that this video is kind of jumping around a little bit, guys. We are doing our absolute darndest out here to ride, build, eat, sleep, ride, build, eat, sleep, literally and repeat out here. So while Sawyer ran over to the Aldi, I got things going over here. So we got the brake lines like we showed you all cleanly mounted up. I filled the line with fluid. I started bleeding this 6 mil here, so I was just doing the old pump crack. I'll show you guys how I do that, just like good old motocross. Normally I try to use a 6 mil open end with like a little hose to catch the fluid, but I don't have one, so I have my 6 mil on here. These are very fragile, very fragile bolts, so we're just gonna crack it, and then we're pulling it, and there's air pushing out of there right now because you'll see, you gotta take this cap back off, get this over here. It started completely empty, and then it'll just suck, and then it starts to fill that entire brake line. So it takes a little bit of time, lots of pumps, lots of cracks, but now you see there's fluid starting to shoot out of there. So we've got pressure starting already in the system here. So we're cracking it, and you can see little teeny air bubbles. Oh, not on that one even. It's not quite there yet, so it's almost there. And you can notice though the fluid level's going down, so the fluid's got to be going somewhere. It's filling up that brake line right now, so we're gonna, I always like to do this a good amount of times, suck a good amount of fluid. I like to suck a lot of fluid through there, but in order to get it to really start squirting out like you're gonna see at the end, we're gonna mosey on back over here, and this is what I was so excited about that I got rigged up here. So I found you take an empty pop can, spin the tab around. If you have an extra piece of Tygon, if you're ordering it from Twinstunts.com, maybe order yourself 6 extra inches of Tygon, or some rubber hose from the gas station will work, but this is nice and flexible. So we got the pop tabs backwards, that's holding that thing in there. And then I like to do the good old-fashioned gravity bleed, so I can get this wrench over there because I got the hose on it already. So it's easier if you break the bolt loose real fast with like a socket wrench, and then that way it's not quite as tight, because if it has a good seal, it's gonna do what we need it to do here. So we're gonna crack this thing loose. All right, you can see it's spun in there. So we're gonna try to hope for the best here. And then also, this is my other ingenious thing I figured out. So I took my old set of brake pads instead of having to hold something in there right now. So I took the pin out. I have 3 brake pads in there right now. I didn't think that was gonna work. It fit like a glove. So now we are not gonna have to hold anything. Sawyer can just hold the camera, and as you can see, look at those bubbles. We are gravity bleeding it already, folks. I don't even have to touch anything. So all I do have to touch though is I gotta keep this brake fluid full at the top, because if you let this go down and it starts sucking in, you're basically gonna have to repeat the entire process over. So I'm gonna just fill this thing up, and you can truly do this like I'm doing right now. Sawyer's filming me. He is not helping me, guys. He doesn't even have gloves on. So I'll give this thing a little bit more of a twist, try to get a little bit more flowage if we can. And then what you can do, so you can see it slowly rising up, you can come up here, grab your master, give it little pumps, and as you'll see, we are just moving. We moving fluid?
Moving fluid, couple little air bubbles.
Oh yeah, see, we're moving fluid. As you can see, if you do, as long as you don't go like this with the handlebar, what you don't want to do is take this master, pull it in, let it go really fast.
Whoa!
Did I mess it up? Yeah, see, look what it does. It sucked a bunch of air right back in. So you just want to be doing little pumps, get it going out. You see those bubbles? I'm shooting them back out, all the air that I sucked in there. So shoot those bubbles out, nice slow little pumps with the master. And this is one technique in the stunt riding world that you can use if you're by yourself and you do not have one of the fancy Harbor Freight vacuum bleeders that my brother so desperately wants to go buy. But I told him, first things first, we need to show you guys how you can do it without fancy tools, because I know some of y'all are balling on a budget out there. So this is how you bleed your brakes with nothing but good old science, folks. Gravity. It's gonna push that air out to the top and the fluid is gonna stay in the caliper. All right, everybody, so that concludes the brake bleed / brake install video. So we got that Twinstunts dual caliper bracket right here. Again, if you have any questions, please, guys, make sure you drop us an email, twinstunts@gmail.com. We'll answer any of those technical questions. However, there are plenty of YouTube videos going more in depth on how to bleed brakes. This was mainly to show you guys how to route the lines, how to delete the ABS, and then how to have a couple of the pro tips on how we bleed our brakes. So again, guys, make sure you do a couple more bleeds back up at the master back here. Once you have full pressure in, get all of that air out, and then you're good to go. Also, a little cheater tip, get a vacuum bleeder. Speeds up the process 10 times. However, if you're doing this as cheap as possible, no vacuum bleeder, seal it all up, you're good to go. Again, go on YouTube, motorcycle brake bleeding. Plenty of how-tos on there if you're having any troubles. However, get that bleeder up to the sky. You should be good to go. Happy wheelies, happy stunting.